freedom erased now.
They're locking everything down. Global institutions want total compliance.
Control grows tighter.
The digital ID is only the first step. The rest is already built.
When identity becomes chains, rebellion becomes duty.
Tomorrow, Illinois residents wake up in a different world. Their driver's license won't be in their wallet anymore. It'll be in their phone, connected to systems that they don't control. Secretary of State Alexei Giannoulias calls it progress. I call it digital handcuffs. And once you see what's really happening, you'll understand why Illinois was chosen as ground zero. So don't look away, because this is the beginning of the end of anonymous existence. Starting tomorrow, Illinois becomes the first state to fully launch digital IDs in Apple Wallet. But this isn't about convenience at the DMV. This connects directly to the global digital ID agenda that people like Eva Villanderbroek and Michael Schellenberger have been warning about. Your identity, your payments, your travel, your age verification, all in one device, all tracked, all monitored, and all controlled. They're telling you it's secure and private, but the architecture tells a very different story. Over 250 airports already integrated, TSA partnering, retailers, stadiums, bars all plugging in. They're building an ecosystem where you can't buy, sell, travel, or exist without their permission. And the kicker? Giannoulias admitted that law enforcement will eventually use this system, not if, when. And as we wrap up 2025, it is a good time to slow down and reflect on the year. If there's one thing that we've all learned, it's that uncertainty isn't temporary. It's the world we live in now. Waiting for things to go back to normal isn't a plan, it's a gamble. And for over a decade, my friends at Noble Gold Investments have helped Americans protect themselves and the people they love by diversifying their wealth with gold and silver. Look, nobody knows what 2026 will bring, but one thing is for sure. In an uncertain world, real wealth isn't digital. It's physical. It's lasting, and it's yours. So before the year ends, take one smart step towards a safer future and visit nextnewsgold.com. Call the number on the screen, 877-646-5347. Ask how you can get the 10-ounce, 1 silver holiday coins with qualified accounts. So what happened here? Bill Gates. Bill Gates is back. One of the driving forces behind the digital ID.
You know, every country's struggling to find that boundary. The U.S. is a tough one because, you know, we have the notion of the First Amendment.
The notion. We have the notion. He calls the First Amendment a notion.
And so what are the exceptions, you know, like yelling fire in a theater, you know, and because you're anonymous online, you know, it can be worse. I do think over time, you know, with things like deep fakes, most of the time you're online, you're going to want to be in an environment where the people are truly identified. That is, they're connected to a real world identity that you trust instead of just people saying whatever they want. And so the idea of provenance, who sent me this email, was that really them? You know, we're going to have systems and behaviors that we're more aware of. Okay, who says that? Who created this?
Who created this digital ID? Yeah, this is what it's going to look like, folks.
You have entry denied. You have criticized the government.
Sorry, last week you purchased too much meat and now your access to your money has been denied.
You haven't let the government know about this trip and your access is denied.
You have gone over your carbon credit allowance of food this week and your access to food has been denied.
A day in the life of UK school children 2035 with digital ID.
You have gone over your electricity allowance this week and your access is denied.
That's the world that we're facing. Remember, we reported on this. World Economic Forum confirms the path to force traceability of online presence to digital ID.
Without a license to anonymity on social media. In our countries, no one can walk the streets with a mask on their face or drive a car without a license plate. No one can send packages without showing an ID or buy a hunting weapon without giving their name. And yet, we are allowing people to roam freely on social networks without linking their profiles to a real identity. This paving the way for misinformation, hate speech, and cyber harassment. because it is facilitating the use of bots, and it is allowing people to act without being held accountable for their actions. Such an anomaly cannot continue. In a democracy, citizens have the right to privacy, not to anonymity or impunity, because with those two, social coexistence would be impossible. That is why I believe we must push forward the principle of pseudonymity as the functioning element of social media, and force all these platforms to link every user account to an European digital identity wallet.
European digital identity wallet. So check this out, October 27th. It was an honor to join President Alar Karas tonight and learn about Estonia's approach to modern digital and secure government. Modern digital and secure government. The Secretary of State of Illinois hanging out with Estonia, talking about digital. Why are you hanging out with the Europeans? I just showed you. Here we have World Economic Forum, Australia talking about it. Bill Gates talking about it. So the Secretary of State says, oh, we're going to talk about secure and digital government. Oh, we're just glad handing with the globalists here. Right? Nothing to see here, folks. That was October 27th. October 29th. Alexa Giannoulias. Great to spend some time with my friend Justin Trudeau at the Chicago Council dinner. Congrats to fellow honorees, blah, 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 blah. Oh, nothing to see here. Just hanging out with one of the biggest globalists there is. Oh, but what is that? What is that? The Chicago Council on Global Affairs. That is a branch of the Council on Foreign Relations. Global affairs. Yep. That's what they are plotting. State of Illinois, Secretary of State, hanging out with the globalists at a globalist arm of the Council on Foreign Relations. 10 hours ago, which brings us to now. 10 hours ago, he posted this. Together, we're proving that Illinois can lead and lead boldly into a safer, smarter, more connected future. At the Illinois Mobile ID launch. 4 hours ago, hey, Illinois, starting tomorrow, you can add your Illinois driver's license or state ID to your Apple Wallet.
Go to www.ilsos.gov/. Hey, Illinois, we're so excited. Starting tomorrow, you can get your driver's license or state ID added to your Apple Wallet. So sign up today to get notified. Go to...
Yeah, sign up today. Here's another one. Starting tomorrow, Illinoisans will be able to add their driver's license or state ID. That was 8 hours ago. October 21st. Digital Dutch political commentator draws attention to the World Economic Forum plan to use the climate crisis as an excuse to roll out personal carbon allowances connected to a digital ID.
One of the largest, the digital identity is not just a passport that you will have on your iPhone in a digital form. It entails just about everything the government would like to know about you. And yesterday in the Dutch media, we saw a perfect example of what it could entail in the near future. We had the CEO of one of the largest Dutch banks say, why don't we start with a personal carbon credit? Oh. A carbon wallet, she called it, actually. Yeah. So right in line with the plans that the World Economic Forum people have for us. And she said it in a way that was particularly funny. She said, well, if everyone gets an individual personal carbon credit, why don't we make it so that rich people who, for example, want to go on holiday a little too often can buy personal carbon credit from other people who, for example, can't afford buying plane tickets or eating meat too often. So we can that way swap it out.
Oh, so if
all connected to your digital ID footprint. That's what they want in Europe, Australia, and now it is unfolding in the state of Illinois. 4 days ago, another conspiracy theory came true. Digital ID is here. Independent journalist Michael Schellenberger uncovered exactly what the globalists are building. It matches everything the World Economic Forum, the UN, the EU, and the UK have been quietly planning. Governments pitching digital ID as a solution to illegal immigration, ID fraud, streamlined healthcare. Schellenberger warns the real danger is digital totalitarianism. China already uses a digital ID, social credit score to control speech, movement, banking, and behavior. And the West is following the same script. First, it's voluntary, right? Oh, just go to the Apple store and load it up on your phone, and don't you worry about a thing. Right? And then they shut it off. You don't comply. Oh, yeah. This is the beginning. First, it's voluntary. Then it becomes mandatory. First, there are rewards, then come punishment. He also exposed the single biggest threat the public isn't being told. A centralized ID system creates a massive cybersecurity kill switch. If it gets hacked, they can access your bank, medical records, identity, entire life, all in one breach. This is not convenience. It's a digital cage, and they're building it fast. This was published just 4 days ago by Jim Ferguson. And now this happening in Illinois.
Britain. Independent journalist Michael Schellenberger has been digging into the digital ID issue. He just released a lengthy piece on this on his Substack called Public. He joins us now with his thoughts. Michael, look, the argument is it's like it'll help thwart illegal immigration, ID fraud, streamline healthcare services. Sounds fantastic. What the heck's the problem?
Right. Hey, great to be with you, Laura. Yeah, I mean, another conspiracy theory that has started coming true. I mean, we saw this announcement in September. It took everybody by surprise. The World Economic Forum had been pushing digital IDs, the United Nations, the European Union, Britain. Of course, the really terrifying example is China, which uses digital IDs and a social credit score to control speech and to control what people think and say online. I mean, it could come in a lot of different ways. They'll start voluntary, then they'll make it mandatory. They'll have rewards, and then they'll have punishments. It's quite terrifying. And when you just listen to what the advocates for digital IDs say, it's terrifying. And, you know, Laura, one thing I learned from this last round of investigations is that this is a huge cybersecurity threat. The idea that, I mean, imagine if you get hacked in one of the many websites that you log into. Imagine everything suddenly being hacked because it's all centralized in a single place. That cybersecurity threat alone ought to be enough to kill the digital ID. But again, this is potentially digital totalitarianism.
Oh, but it's all convenience, right? Hey, just tomorrow, you can do it. Look at how excited he is, man.
ILS. Hey, Illinois, we're so excited. Starting tomorrow, you can get your driver's license or state.
We're so excited to lock you in your digital prison. Oh, here he is.
About to walk on stage here.
Yeah, you should have actually started the edit right before that point, buddy. Like, it's how staged is this? He's standing there. Okay, all right, we're rolling. All right, go. Like, you see, what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to start outside the door and start walking, and then you tell him that you do the edit when you hit the first step when you start talking. Because these fools don't even know how to make proper social media video.
About to walk on stage here for an incredible...
No, you were staged on a freaking step. Dude, sorry, this just annoys the hell out of me.
About to walk on stage here for an incredibly exciting day. We promised the people of Illinois that we would bring mobile IDs to Illinois. That's what we're doing here today. We're announcing that starting tomorrow, you can add your ID to your Apple Wallet. I'm so excited about this announcement. I'm so excited about the path ahead. And this is exactly what we promised Illinoisans. Modernization, innovation, creating efficiencies, and doing everything we can to eliminate the time tax. I'm so fired up.
The time tax, huh? Really, the time tax? How about the real taxes? How about we start with that? The rollout's happening. Oh, and if you ever wanted a more concise breakdown of why this is all so dangerous, look no further than RFK Jr.
What we're seeing today is what I call turnkey totalitarianism. They are putting in place all of these technological mechanisms for control we've never seen before. It's been the ambition of every totalitarian state from the beginning of mankind to control every aspect of behavior, of conduct, of thought, and to obliterate dissent. None of them have been able to do it. They didn't have the technological capacity. Today, the mechanisms are being put in place that will make it so none of us can run and none of us can hide. Within 5 years, we're going to see 415,000 low-orbit satellites. Bill Gates says his 65,000 satellites alone will be able to look at every square inch of the planet 24 hours a day. Digital currency that will allow them to punish us from a distance and cut off our food supply. Every right that you have is transformed into a privilege contingent upon your obedience to arbitrary government dictates. It will make you a slave. And what do we do about this? What do? We resist. I'm going to tell you 3 rules that you all need to know and memorize. Number 1, every power that government takes from us, it will never relinquish voluntarily. Number 2, every power they take from us, they will ultimately abuse to the maximum extent possible. Number 3, nobody in history of the planet has ever complied their way out of totalitarian control. Every capitulation is a signal to the oppressors to impose new forms of torment or torture or compliance or obedience. Every time you comply, you get weaker. Bullies cannot be appeased. It just encourages them to new forms of torture and torment. Every time you say yes, you're getting pushed back to a weaker position. That's why we need to resist today.
God bless RFK Jr. So here's what they're not telling you. See, the system's designed to expand. First it's optional, then it's convenient, then it's mandatory. Right now, you still need a physical license, but Giannoulias has confirmed the goal, complete digital transition. No offline option. It gets darker, though, because you saw this plugs directly into what Dutch banks are planning with personal carbon allowances. Every purchase tracked, every mile driven recorded, every transaction tied to your social credit score. Jim Ferguson called it another conspiracy theory becoming reality. RFK Jr. warning us digital ID plus central bank, digital currency equal total control. Now, the smoking gun came during the press conference when asked about law enforcement access. Giannoulias said they won't use it for the foreseeable future, while openly predicting they will in a few years. He's literally telling you the surveillance state is coming. He's just asking you to trust him on the timeline. This is it's not a slippery slope. It's a cliff. So Illinois didn't become ground zero by accident. It's the perfect testing ground, corrupt enough to push it through, blue enough to silence opposition, big enough to matter. Today it's your driver's license, tomorrow it's your medical records, your voting history, your carbon footprint. They're building a digital prison, one app update at a time. And they're counting on you to be too distracted by the convenience to notice the cage. The World Economic Forum's dream of tying your identity to your ability to participate in society isn't coming. It's here. It's starting tomorrow in Illinois. So the question is, will you accept digital slavery for faster beer lines at Soldier Field? Yes or no? Sound off in the comments. If you value freedom over convenience, support independent media at our merch shop. We're one of the last voices they can't digitally silence yet.